Y'all ready?
Y'all ready?
Yes. You have just stepped out into the world of chaos. Where everybody goes hard. Come on. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Or go home. Never back down. You gotta hold your own. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. East Coast. Go hard. West Coast. Go hard. Midwest. Go hard. Dirty. Hurry up, everybody. Get online, buy your tickets, cause the game about to start.
What's going on, brother?
I can't call it, man. Just here, just here. What's good with you?
Man, I'm blessed, man. Another day, everything that's going on. But I'm solid, man. It's a pleasure to have you. Good looking out the Pat Alphonse. It's my agent on the side. It's my brother. That's right. That's our connect, man. Always trying to make things better.
No doubt.
So what's going on with you? You relaxing?
Yeah,
Good.
thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. I've been watching the program for a little while. Pat put me on it, so I've been catching a couple of interviews. I'm a fan from a distance. I appreciate the love.
No doubt, man. We was talking about some guys just chopping it up and tossing a lot of hats, a lot of names in the hat, and your name came up. Your name came up in a couple of interviews. People were talking about you, so we definitely want to get you up here, brother.
Appreciate that.
No doubt, man. So as we do with everyone, we always ask, who introduced you to the game?
You know what? To be honest, man, it's just been so much. I don't recall anyone introducing me to the game. I just recall being out in the park. I'm Jamaican. I'm from Jamaica. Came here when I was about lived in Brooklyn, Vanderveer Projects. And then my dad bought me a basketball. I was in the park. I recall they had like a little ball inside because every time you dribble it, you hear a bing, bing, bing. One of those balls. And so I recall just being in the park with the ball, and some cat asked me to borrow my ball to shoot with me, and he took it. I lent it to him, and I ain't never seen that ball again. And I had to go home and tell my mom or my dad what happened to my ball. And I think my brother, Alvin, tried to go back and get the ball, but that was like the earliest part of me just having the basketball. I mean, obviously I didn't know what that game was going to do for me, but it was just something to get out and be done, to be honest. So that's like my first recollection of dribbling a basketball.
And you paid your dues. You got your ball stolen with the classic, let me get a shot trick.
Yeah, man, they just ball.
It happens to the best of us, brother. It happens to the best of us.
Let me just get one shot. Straight in Brooklyn, straight off of Nostrand Avenue, Nostrand and Newkirk, right in the park. And I was like, all right. And I watched him, and he was just kept going out the park, and I watched him, and that ball, he never came back. I ain't never seen him again.
Okay. So you kind of developed on your own, kind of picked it up, and was curious about the game, and you wanted to get involved.
So I was playing. I was always a big guy, taller guy, everyone in my grade, third grade, fourth grade, whatever. I recall I was in Queens at some point, like in Flushing at a park by Queens College, just playing like I do. It was pretty much solo by myself. I certainly didn't have a lot of friends as far as basketball friends, just being in the park. And Dave Jones from the Gauchos was walking by the park. And
Salute Dave.
Yeah, he was just like, yo, big man, who you play for? And I was like, what? He's like, yo, you play? And I was like, yeah. So, he came and he just started shooting with me. And, obviously I wasn't any good. I was just tall. And he's like, yo, what you doing tomorrow? And I was like, be right here shooting the ball. He's like, yo, tomorrow I'm going to come get you. We're going to get on this train. I'm going to take you to this gym to go play ball. And I was like, word? He's like, all right. So, back then, everything was a little different. We didn't have a lot of worries or insecurities. We just went. So, I got on, the next day I came, got on the train with this dude I just met 24 hours ago, which would have never happened now. And we got on the train, he talked to me on the way up. I walked there, I got in 135th and I want to say 5th Park out in the Gaucho gym. And I walk in, that place is like a zoo.
Right.
It just wall-to-wall bangers. You know, I just recall Ross Strickland and them guys, the older group, was just finishing practice. Dave McCullum was running practice. Lou was there in his little pink jacket. You know, Lou who ran Gauchos. Man, obviously,
That's right. That's right. Lou Don made it. Right.
I'm green. You know, I don't know nothing. You know, all these cats were strictly Harlem dudes, street dudes. You know, as far as when I say street dude, just wise to the streets. You know,
right.
ins and out. And I'm green. You know, I'm by myself. So, you know, they were just hooping. They were just packed. People in the gym, people in the hallway, people waiting to go next, and you know, the practice. I remember Big Jason. I can't remember his name. Light skinned dude played at Truman, probably about my age. Played with Yoda. All them guys was in there playing, hooping, and I'm just amazed. I'm like, yo, what am I doing here? Like, I ain't ready for none of this type of action. And you know, it was just shocking. So I just kind of watched him practice for a while, and you know, he's like, yo, you don't have to play, you don't have to do anything. You know, I just want you to kind of just look and watch and, you know, whatever. And I watched him for about 2 hours, 2.5 hours, just watching play. And I mean, I was terrified. I'm glad that he didn't let me play because I probably would have never went back because
right.
them guys was playing, man. Them guys was playing. You know, they had on gold chains and, you know, they were going. You know, little Yoda, the shortest one in there, was the loudest. He was like 5'4".
He was a beast.
He was talking, he was talking smack to like the 6'8" center, like he was gonna beat him up. You know, after it was over, he took his shoes off, threw on some Timbs, threw on one of them snorkels, threw his chain back on, threw his hat to the side, dapped up Lou. Lou probably gave some cash, and he was out of there. Like, it was just a whole new environment for me. And, you know, it was, I mean, looking back on it, it was, you know, I was just being taught all these things just from a visionary's standpoint. I mean, it was fun looking back on it. I wish I was more indulged in it on that first day, but I didn't have the heart. I didn't have the game. I ain't had none of it. They would have ate me alive. I mean, like, they would have ate me alive. They probably took all my money and sent me home with no clothes if I went there and played.
So what gave you the heart to go up there? Did you play junior high school ball? Did you play in your neighborhood? What gave you the heart to go up there?
I think at this point I was just, you know, I didn't really have a lot of friends. I didn't have a lot of adults mentorship in my life. I didn't really, you know, my parents worked, you know, I didn't have the most established, you know, I mean, my parents were very hardworking immigrants and, you know, they were doing their thing. So, you know, like everybody else, you know, we were by ourselves for most of the time. And, you know, we had that tough skin and, you know, that kind of mentality where we can kind of figure things out on our own. And we didn't have any, like, the dangers that the kids have now. So, you know, nowadays a guy walk up to you and say, yo, listen, can we go in, can you come with me tomorrow to Manhattan? You'd be like, what? Who are you? I ain't going nowhere. But back then, like, I bet I ain't got shit to do tomorrow. I'll meet you at the train station. And so at that point, I want to say, you know, this is going like right into middle school, maybe like 7th grade or something like that. When I was getting size. So I went to the Gauchos. I started playing with Dave and, you know, Dave McCullough and Dave Jones. They both kind of, you know, was working with me and, you know, I was on the B team and, you know, I wasn't getting a lot of burn. And I was just going, but, you know, I showed up every day. I practiced. You know, I didn't have a lot of confidence, but, you know, I was still playing. I still showed up. Dave and them, you know, they pushed you. They challenged you. You know, they would never disrespect you, make you feel like you wasn't shit, but they made you feel like, yo, you need to improve. You need to get better, and you need to keep coming back to get better. So, you know, it was all back, you know, looking back, it was all about paying my dues. And, you know, I did that. You know, I just kept coming and I kept playing and they would put me in tournaments, citywide at Brandeis, citywide outside in the summer, you know, boys of yesteryears up on 139th. So, you know, it was just start getting more and more confidence into the game, into, you know, things that happen. And, you know, a lot of things that you worked on, you know, you accidentally do them in the game and then it becomes a part of your game. So, you know, it's just part of all that. So, Gauchos experience, I was only there for probably about a year with the Gauchos, maybe a year and a half. And, you know, it was a good experience. And then I started hanging out with Kenny Anderson a little bit. Me and Kenny lived down the street.
All right, hold on. Before we get to Those good stories. I want to kind of separate them a little bit. All right.
Okay.
What was it? Anyone in your neighborhood that was really good? Like, who was the best player in your neighborhood?
At that point, there was nobody in my neighborhood playing. Like, I didn't really have anybody that was playing with me. I was in Flushing. You know, like I said, I was, I lived in a private home. So it wasn't like in the project settings where, in the projects and there's a whole lot of people. So the minute you walk out the building, you see everybody. So you start to familiarize yourself with friends. But, when you live in, in a suburban neighborhood or in the neighborhood, you come out your house, everybody's still in their house, so it's a different mentality. So like I said, I was from Jamaica. I only been here for a few years. And so I didn't really have a lot of like people that I clicked with every day and we just did the same things. Like those things didn't happen for me until after I started playing basketball more and went to the Gauchos and became friends with people. And that's when I started to become friends. Because all my friends were ball players. Like that's all my friends that I had for the most part. Yeah, because most of the guys who go to AAU, Gauchos, Riverside, and Broncos, those guys already was playing. They was playing junior high school ball. They was playing high school ball. They was playing other tournaments. You kind of went there and developed. Yeah. Oh, yeah. When I got there, them dudes was already pros compared to what I was doing. Like, them dudes was pros. I was some dude that, hey, you know what? That guy's tall. Maybe we can get him to stick him in the center. He can become, serviceable in essence. So, I literally was a farm guy. I was just there to work out Jason and work out these other guys. And doing that, I just happened to get better and better. And, things kind of changed and evolved for me eventually. That's real interesting that you say that, because nowadays, guys who are developed play AAU ball to get exposure. You kind of did it the reverse. You went there to develop, and then you build yourself up to get your exposure. Right. And, when I played, it will kind of help you. Right. And then, even just move forward in the essence of just thinking back, when I played and we played with each other, we weren't thinking about like, yo, we got to be ranked. Yo, we got to be number one in the country. Yo, we got to be the best at this and that. We just say, yo, we're going to beat the team we beating today. And I don't care if I score 12 or I score 18 or I score 30, we're going to get this W. And through that, we all became, we all worked. And I always do the phrase, iron sharpens iron. And I was guys that I was the dullest of the knives, and they were sharp. They were straight Ginsu. They were slicing things up. And I just became sharper and sharper through them. So who did you pattern your game after? You know what? I don't really know. We're growing up. I like Bernard King. When I played with the Gauchos, they played me at center. I was, one of the taller guys. I had a, really nice soft touch around the basket. I can flip it in any kind of way, off a finger roll, off a turnaround, off of jump hooks, anything within the paint. I was good. I had good hands. I could shoot a turnaround, foul line, jump shot, straighten that. I really did work on my craft a lot. Because I just love the game, and I didn't see it as me getting better. I just loved to play, and through that, I became better. I started going to basketball camps. I guess that'll come up in the story because right now we're still at the Gauchos. But, kind of moving forward, after about a year with the Gauchos and just realizing that, hey, they have their set team. I'm never going to really get above these guys because they're my age pretty much, and they've been doing it forever. And Dave McCullen is a real loyal dude, but he also had great talent, so it's easy to be right. He's going to be loyal to them, but they're also good talent. So me and Kenny were good friends, and Kenny's like, man, you need to come over to Riverside. We could really use you. And I was like, at that point, I'm like, well, I'm loyal to Gauchos. Like, they found me, they brought me. Right. I'm still developing. Like, I'm nowhere near good yet to this point. And he's like, nah, we're cool. We ride the train together. We go to the game together. We ain't got to get off, and I get off at this stop, and you get off at that, and then you got to keep going up to 135th, and you got to, I got to get over the one train. You still take right. So I was like, all right, man. I'll see. So we one day we're both playing the citywide Brandeis, and I'm playing. Actually, my dad. So let me back up. My dad is Jamaican. He watched basketball on TV. Never been to a live game, and he says to me, "Hey man, what are you going to do about college?" You know.
Right.
I was like, "College? Yeah, I'm gonna play. I think I'm gonna play basketball in college." He's like, "What?" I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "How you gonna do that? Because you ain't got no grades. And you I can get you in the union. I'm a steam fitter. We can get you to someday." I'm like, "Well, Dad, I don't like heights, and I ain't with all that extra labor."
Right.
I said, "I'm getting better in this basketball thing. You might want to come see me play," because he never come see me play. I leave the house every day to go play, but he never seen me play. So he's like, "All right." So I go to Brandeis. We're playing citywide. He drives me there, and I get the ball, and I just turn around at 3-point line. I just run. Didn't dribble or nothing. Just running and try to dunk the ball as hard as I can. The ball pops back to half court. I mean, the referee called travel. Dave McCullum looking at me like, what is going on? This is all going wrong. This experiment is going backwards. I got a damn center who took the ball from the 3-point line and just ran to the basket without taking the dribble at all. So after that, I think my dad kind of seen that, okay, he's playing basketball, whatever. So now Kenny asked me to come to Riverside. So I was like, all right, whatever. So I went inside. Mr. Lloyd was there, just finished playing after us. And I go in the locker room. Lloyd was like, yo, come down to the gym. We'll talk. We'll see what's what. So Kenny worked out with Vincent Smith, who's Kenny Smith's older brother.
Legend, definitely legend, definitely.
Him and Pierre Turner and those guys used to have a gym, Lost Battalion Hall up in Queens. And they used to like, yo, just come on out, come shoot some ball and da-da-da. I didn't know I was going to go do drills. I thought I was just going to go play pickup. When I get there, they got cones down. I ain't never seen so many cones in my life. Kenny's doing all these types of drills, and I'm just standing there, and they're like, hey, you going to jump in or what you going to do? So eventually I started working out with them, and, they got my handle together. They start showing me crafts and telling me about angles and showing me about, how to develop in moves and, how to make your move and how to get to your spot and things of that nature. So they start teaching me more of the fundamentals of the game and the eye to see what's developing in the game. So I think between those guys, they kind of really got me into really loving the game more than just playing it. They're like, okay, now you really can see what's going on. So I'm up at Riverside now and I'm trying out. I get there. You've been up to Riverside Church gym.
Oh yes, like, facts.
The
wall
is in bounds.
That's right.
The pillar at the other end is in bounds.
That's right.
Only thing out of bounds is if it goes up in the banner. So I'm there. I haven't even met Pat yet. Pat Alvin. I haven't met him yet. So I'm there, and Malik is playing. The whole Talentine crew is like on the 18, which rightfully so. Lloyd was, funding that program. So Malik is there. Jerome Holmes. Dave Edwards was coach. Sugar Bear, he was the coach of the 18, and they're just going. It's just the ball goes underneath the pillars. They just grab it and throw it back out and go, and they're dunking, and that rim is snapping down, and I'm just like, whoa, these cats is moving. So anyway, I go. Dave pulls me aside. Hey, I heard you coming over. Let's try you out. So I throw in some clothes. I get in there with them. I mix it up, and they're busting my ass. Like it ain't no secret. Like you can't hide. You can't hide. First of all, you the new dude, so everybody's like, yo, you ain't getting my jacket. You ain't getting my spot. I don't care where you come from, but you ain't getting it. So by the end of the day, obviously they knew I wasn't the 18 guy. I was a B team guy. By now I'm like in the 9th grade, and they're like, yeah, Dave's like, yo, be patient. You're going to be all right, son. We're going to take you on some of these trips. You're going to develop. You're going to expose. And I was like, okay, all right. Who paid for these trips? Nah, you ain't got to worry about no expenses here. You just come be sharp. All right, cool. So, I liked it. I ended up meeting Pat like right around that time. And me and Pat always hung out because we always talked about girls. We always, we were always conniving up to something, whatever. And,
right.
We always just walk home, walk to the train station, get some pizza, and just rap. We just rap. And, those are just the best memories I had, coming through that.
Okay. So Kenny talked you into going down to Riverside, and that's you got exposed to some guys that became your friends for a long time.
Right. So on the team, like I said, they had, I was on the B team for a little while, which had a couple of guys from Laughlin, Anton Michon, who played at Laughlin. Who else? Bear. There's a, Cornelius Mullen played at Zavarian. They had, there was a lot of talent at Riverside Church. This is like 85.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So we're playing, and we're getting better and better and better, and we're starting to win tournaments. We're winning citywide. We're winning boys. Yesterday, we literally playing 3 tournaments in one day. We got a 10 o'clock game at citywide. Win that game. Get in the van or in the train. Take it uptown to 139th. Boys of yesteryear playing that. Get in the van. Go across Queens to Elmcourt. We're just playing. And as we're playing, I'm getting better. The more games I played, the better I got. The more my value increased. I started having Riverside jacket, which is, back then you get a jacket.
Man, listen. If you had a Riverside, it was like the 3 games, right? Riverside, Gauchos, Broncos. And I think because we had 3 AAU teams, it made the competition even better, because if you didn't make those 3,
right,
you had to kind of do something else. But
right,
the 3 teams had the best players in the city.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? So now you have so many AAU teams, the players are kind of spread out. And the fundamentals are lacking because you don't have that much time with the same players because they move in so many different places.
Right. I think the one thing that we had good with Riverside, I think for the most part, the core guys, probably about 8 or 9 guys, stayed together for a good 3 or 4 summers. We were traveling from California to Arizona, to Vegas, the Carolinas. We were everywhere, and we were just playing and winning and doing stupid stuff, on the road, doing crazy stuff. But we, it was a good thing. Mike Thompson, you had Mike last week, our shooter, Carlos Easterlin, our point guard, because Kenny ended up leaving. So we ended up having Carlos Easterlin, who ended up playing at, I want to say he played at Rhode Island.
Oh yeah, definitely. What up, Carl? We got to get Carlos up here as well. Definitely, salute.
Played with me at Christ the King. So by now, Lloyd saw me as an investment. Saw me meaning that, okay, this kid is going to be something for us. Right. Goes, hey man, what high school you go to next year? I go, man, I don't know. Wherever. So he's like, nah, you're going to Christ the King. I go, okay. And now, so I go home and tell my dad, hey, this white man want me to go to Christ the King next year to play ball. And he's like, Christ the King? Is that a public school? I go, I had no idea. So I called next practice, I go to lunch, like, yo, my dad is asking me all these questions. I just don't know what to do. He's like, have your dad call me. So worked it out. Dad was like, all right, cool, whatever. At this point, I had a little chin hair, a little goatee. I was probably about 14. They used to call me Beer. That was my nickname, Beer, because I had facial.
Grown man already at 14.
Yeah,
right.
Just a little goatee, just a little, a little something going on. So they make you cut it. You couldn't wear that in high school. And I had to wear a jacket. So I'm like, I don't know about this school. The night before, I'm like, I don't know about this school. I got to shave. I got all these things. But I get there, and it's me, Carlos Easterling, Jamal Faulkner.
I got to get Jamal up here, too.
Jason Williams was a senior. He's been recruited by St. John's. We were a good crew, but not play for, I was on the JV team. But it was a good time. I was moving, and basketball was doing well for me. And I was starting to get some limelight. I was starting to get a little bit of success. Nothing major, because at the end of the day, I still played behind guys who were top dogs in the country. Malik was on my team; he was the top dog in the country. Kenny Anderson was on my team; he was top dog in the country. Jerome Holmes, Brian Reese was coming up behind, and all the Talentine crew got top.
Right.
So and even on my team, out of the Riverside team, I was probably the 8th man. Just being honest,
Right.
I was the top guy. I was the top 3. I was the top 4. Pat was ahead of me. Pat had them little slick moves and had a lot of confidence. So, I still was I was still trying to find my way and figure things out, and still trying to gain confidence within myself, much as within the team I'm playing on, to make sure that they can, they can be confident in what I'm gonna do when I go out there.
So how was your high school years? Like you at Christ the King, how were you developing there?
So at Christ the King, it was a good experience. I had played for Bob Oliva. Bob was a coach there at the time, and he was good. He was fair. We traveled, which was like shocking to me. I didn't know a high school team traveled. First trip we going to Missouri to play in the tournament as a JV team. I was very immature in a lot of ways. Meaning, I still cry. I was a fun-loving guy. I cracked a lot of jokes. Some of them went a little bit overboard. So I still had a lot of issues with discipline in regards to being in school, especially in the Catholic school settings. I still wanted to clown around. I still wanted to, basketball I took very seriously, but everything else I didn't take as seriously. So I had a good year at Christ the King, but it wasn't necessarily the best time of my life. I look back on it now. I still have my jersey from high school. They sent it to me about 4 or 5 years ago. They mailed it to me. I still have, I go up there, I visit. I still get a lot of love from there. And I still keep in contact with those guys. The new coach now, Joel Alberto, is there. And it was an experience. It was part of life that I had some good, tough learning lessons there. Dealing with the priest, you don't go to the principal, you go to the priest, when you get in trouble. So, I was in his office quite a bit.
All right, so I had a question from my man Mark Petit. He played at Hofstra with Speedy. He asked, did you guys win a national champions when y'all was at Riverside? Y'all won a national championship?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So that summer that we won, we started off in New York, won all the New York tournaments, left New York, went to BCI had a tournament that started off in California. So we went to California, played in that. It was at Mater Dei High School. We all stayed at different family houses because they hosted us. We did that. We smacked them. So the team was Carlos Easterling, Jerome Holmes, Malik Sealy, Mike Parker, Brian Reese was there, Gordon Winchester, Pat Alphonse, Mike Thompson. We had a D1 squad from first man to last man on the bench. We went that. We were there a week, fly from there, left, went down to University of Houston, played in the second leg of the tournament. Go there, smack up Memphis, smack up LA Watts, smack up the Rebels out of Vegas. We were destroying people.
Who were some of the guys you guys was playing against?
I'm not good with names and memories, to be honest.
Okay, all right.
But I just know, like all those guys played Division I basketball. At that point, I was so into me and trying to get my shit together. Like I barely knew who those guys were, to be honest. And I just knew who our guys were, and I knew my guys was top dog.
Cause you was basically the new guy in the scene.
I was definitely a new guy in the scene. I didn't have the history of the game. I didn't have the history of players. I was still learning things. I was still trying to figure out my place within what I do. St. John's, like all these big colleges was following around. St. John's was walking around with Malik Sealy's jersey with his name on the back while they were still recruiting him. It was like we were like a rock star show. Girls just
Pat said that. Yeah. So give me a story about Mike T when y'all was playing Riverside. Something that you remember.
With Mike T. Well, a lot of memories I have with Mike T. I don't think we're allowed to say it around here because Mike is married now. He's a family man.
Strictly ball related.
What I can say is Mike is my idol. Mike has always been a dear, great friend to me. Like all my Riverside teammates are dear friends to me, and I still keep in contact with most of them to this day. But Mike shoot the hell out the ball. The last thing you want to do is get Mike angry and talk smack to him and think that it ain't coming back. He got that little light-skinned look. He had the little curly flat top back in the day. Had he was going to get down. But you get Mike angry, and that's rough. I remember we were playing in in California, playing the tournament. So we got in trouble. Kenny got in trouble in California. So we had to improvise. We had to play other people a little longer than others because he was being punished basically for first half. And I remember Mike carrying us in the first half, bucket after bucket after bucket, down screen, coming off, screens on the bottom, all the way to the top, knocking shots down after other, finishing at the rim. I mean, this was probably his probably about our junior summer. It's about 86 on 87, and I mean, couldn't stop him. And once he started flowing, everyone started flowing. Mike was he was a willing sharer. He'll get his buckets, but that whole team just shared. We knew Malik was the man, but Malik was the kind of leader that kind of, you gonna get yours too. We all getting ours. It ain't me getting 30 and everybody's getting 9 and 10. That whole team was 15, 14, 11s, 10, 12s, whatever it may be.
So when did you move on to after Christ the King?
So I was at Christ the King, so I got a little problem at Christ the King. So, in Christ the King, the demographics is pretty much a lot of Italian, a lot of whites. I remember they used to have like different classes, meaning the Capizios were like the Italians or the whites who kind of dressed up every day and had on the white shoes. And then I forgot the other group was called. But anyway, I ended up getting in trouble between those two groups. I ended up getting out of there. And I don't recall how I got to Our Savior Lutheran, other than maybe there's a guy named Charles Tatum who was good friends with another guy named Rodney Henry. Rodney Henry's dad was he's the head coach or the assistant coach at Hofstra back at the time,
right.
Henry. And they were like, yo, we going over to Our Savior Lutheran in the Bronx. And I was like, the Bronx? I'm in Queens. How we going to get to the Bronx every day for school? Yo, don't worry about it. We good. We going to get there every day. So I was like, all right. So me, Rodney Henry, and Charles Tatum lived in Queens. They lived in Jamaica, Queens. I was in Flushing, and we just met up on the bus every day, and we hooped it up there. Mr. Booker, rest his soul, who passed away a few years back, he had the Jerry curl, drove a Cadillac, big guy, father figure, mentor. He's like, hey, you're going to love it here. We're going to treat you well. You're going to love it. So, all right, cool. So I get there, and those three transferred in, and already there was Jonathan Duck, rest his soul. He just passed away a couple weeks ago. Danny Torado, rest his soul also. So those two were already there. Then in comes Arnold Bernard, A-Train. Walter Hurd. Walter Hurd, I think he's the second leading scorer at Virginia Union College. I mean, he ain't never passed the ball. He ain't never passed the ball. Like you would not believe. So now we got Arnold Bernard at the point, Walter Hurd at the 2, I'm at the 3, Jonathan Duck is at the 4, and Steve Carney, who played at Northwestern, is at the 5. And we're at practice now. Little school, only about a couple hundred people from kindergarten all the way through high school. And, the gym was also the chapel. They rolled the lunch tables out the way and time to practice. And practice is like we're getting it in. We're it's a good team. So our first game we start play like Monroe High School with Malloy, Future.
Malloy, yeah.
Beat them by like 30. So now we're running through the city. We're beating everybody by like 20, 30. And, they're putting it up in the cafeteria, the scores of the game, and every score is by 30. We end up going to play Stevenson at Stevenson, and they had Billy Singleton, Michael Huger, and Cade was there. They had a solid squad. So, by now we were like probably like 13-0, 14-0. We didn't lose a game. They smacked us. That place was just packed. We're used to playing in front of crowds. They had a few hundreds, and them dudes. It was a tough looking crowd out there. How we gonna get back on this bus, going through Stevenson Commons to get back on this bus after leaving the school? So they ended up beating us probably like 7 or 8, and it kind of brought us back in together, and then we end up running the table the rest of the way.
Okay. So what year were you at Our Savior Lutheran?
That was 86, 87.
Okay, so that explains it. In 86, you guys ran into us in Glen Falls?
Yes. You want to tell that story?
Listen, we weren't expected to be up there, right? We knew we supposed to be there, but everybody else didn't think so. So after we beat Manhattan Center, we had to play Kenny and them.
Right.
Malloy, first game that Friday. And I think they kind of set us up. But anyway,
now
I think we set up the city.
Tell me about Malloy's team. Who Malloy had?
Well, they had Kenny, they had Ralph James,
Yep.
they had
St. John Center.
Lawrence, Pop, they had Pop Jennings.
Yep. Don't
right?
forget Rob Wardan.
They had Robert Wardan. I think he was a little bit younger then, but he was there.
Yeah, he was there.
Right. So we was undersized, but we matched them very well. Our team was similar to what Golden State was. Because we had guys that could play a lot of positions.
Right.
And thanks to us, man, I got to give credit where credit's due. We had Tiny. And Tiny don't get a lot of respect as far as his basketball playing, but
right,
he was a great point guard.
Right.
Especially he fit us well.
Right.
So I just remember the papers and everybody talking about how Malloy's press was just the best press in the state. And it was like the North Carolina press, and no one can, get past their press.
Right.
And which we saw, everybody was kind of falling to that press. Tiny had no problem with it, which made our job a lot easier because the only thing we had to do is get in the lane.
Right.
The key was we had to build up a good enough lead in that first quarter, right? Because if you don't start off well against Malloy in the first quarter, you got Kenny to deal with coming off the bench.
Coming off the bench. Didn't play the first quarter.
And I think that's one of the biggest mistakes. I give Jack Cameron a whole bunch of respect. But I think that's the reason why we won, because he didn't play that first quarter.
Right.
Now, it would just made us step our game up a little bit more. But we definitely put it on them first quarter. Then he came in. And the game changed. But again, we had Tiny to neutralize a lot of things.
Right.
Not saying that Tiny was stopping him, but he got our offense moving.
Right.
So we went into overtime. And Kenny gets it. So Kenny gets the ball, and it's a wrap. And the game before that, he just beat St. Anthony's.
Right.
On the last second shot.
Yeah, right.
So he gets it. This in regulation, shoots it. Dave Adebanjo comes and gets a little bit of it. He didn't block it, but got enough to where it changed the shot and it missed. It went in and came out. We went to overtime and we beat them. The next night, we run into you guys. And it was let me tell you something. That shit was a dog fight. Because it was a double overtime game.
Right. Yep.
Right? It was a double overtime game, and you guys press. So it was just like, okay, if you get out of the Malloy press, you got to deal with Arnold Bernard and these guys.
Yep. Arnold Bernard, Walter Hurd, Danny Tirado.
You got to deal with Danny Tirado. You got to deal with that whole mess.
And that was our thing. We wanted to go. We wanted to get it and just go score. I think that year we averaged like 80-something points a game, easy.
Right. And our coach told us to match y'all run, but don't try to outrun y'all. Right?
Right.
We wanted to kind of run with y'all, but also play the control game and not get out of control. And that's where, again, Tiny played the part. And our coach, Bobby Hartstein, who gave us the right directions.
Right.
I don't know too many of the particulars, but I do remember it was a dogfight from beginning to end.
I think with us, what helped us a lot in those games was our bigs. Our bigs. Sean Carney was 6'9". Jonathan Duck was 6'7", 260.
Mm-hmm.
When everybody else was like 210, 180, 190. It was a big guy.
Right.
So once we got through your press and got through your defense and get to those guys, it was either a foul shot or it was a bucket because those guys scored in high volume. And that experience was so awesome for us because one, no one expected us from the beginning of the season to get to there because first of all, I would say Lutheran has never done anything ever in a long time. I mean, maybe a few years back they had Dwayne Ivory, who was a really, really good player in the city. But I would say Lutheran didn't really do much in the basketball world. So that helped us a lot. It also helped me in my confidence. I was still at that point, still immature, doing stupid things of that nature. I ended up becoming good friends with Gordon Winchester because by now I moved up to the Bronx. Good friend with Gordon Winchester, DeJuan Maxwell, Owen, Kubi, like guys in my neighborhood. Now I had a neighborhood crew of guys that played ball, and we just went from park to park to park to park. And at this point, confidence-wise, I was still lacking confidence. Even though I was having success, I was still lacking because the guys that were in front of me were really, really good. I was doing my thing, but they were doing their thing. Like they were hooping. Turnaround dunks, jump shot with confidence. Everything they did with confidence. A lot of things I did because I had the size and I had the skill set, but it was still lacking confidence in getting that. So that summer of '87 going into '88, winning it with the church, playing behind Malik. And so after we won the Arizona tournament, won the national AAU tournament, we come back. And the day we come back, me, Mike Thompson, Pat Alphonse, Malik, Gordy, we get back and we playing in Golden Hoops at Columbia. So we're home. We get home that morning, and Malik's dad is going to pick us up. So I go to Gordy's house, and the funniest story ever. Malik is just the best. So we're at Gordy's house, and Gordy's house is that one friend that everyone just go to. That's the house we go hang out at. Whatever's going to pop off that day, we're meeting there, and we're going to wherever it is. Whether we're playing ball or hanging out in the club. So Malik is like, yo, I'm coming up to the house at like 5. My dad is picking us up. We're going to shoot over to Columbia. Cool. Malik's dad comes and gets us. And on our way there, his dad was driving a cab. Used to drive a cab, right? So we're on the highway, and we get on the bridge going over to Columbia, and the taxi breaks down. Just cuts off. We're just like stopped in the middle of the highway. So we're like, what the heck? He gets on the radio, calls some of his buddies. Like 4 cabs popped up. We're all jumped into different cabs. We get to the game. The game has started. We're getting dressed like behind the bench because the game has started. We're playing City Hoops, and I want to say we're playing Brooklyn. I can't remember who was playing in Brooklyn at the time, but we're playing, and we're going. And that game, I just had so much success in what basketball wise. Like everything happened for me. I was just like, ooh, look, oh shit, I'm doing it. Oh, I'm getting it. And then it's a crowd on top of it, and I'm getting it. And Pat is around, and Pat is laughing. Pat was always my like cheerleader guy, like, yo, Golf, you got this. Ooh, Golf, you're doing it. And I ended up coming down. I recall vividly coming down, and I was a little showboatish slightly when I had a lot of confidence. And I remember throwing it through a guy's leg, picking him on the other side. I dunked it. The crowd goes over. We win. Lloyd is happy. He gave me summer money for to go shopping.
Right. That's how I was back then. That's right.
Oh yeah. So he always took care of us, and it was just the best experience. And I probably didn't really become a really, really good basketball player until I got to college. Just being honest. Like, coming out, I was a Prop 48. I didn't handle my books like, I did the bare minimum academically. I took the SATs at Mount St. Michael's, and I fell asleep. I was like, yo, man, this ain't for me. I ain't worried about it. I think we only needed like 700 or 800 back then. And I think I had like a 680. I like, man, I ain't taking this again. like, you know, I just didn't, like, you know, I was still immature in a lot of ways. So I ended up going to JUCO in Kansas. Lord was like, yo, I'm sending you out the city. You going to Kansas. I'm paying for everything. He sent me down to TV. You know, he set my room up. Just the whole nine. I mean, he always just looked out for me. So I get to Kansas, and I had nothing else to do but just play ball. There was nothing to do. There was no girls. You know, I was very particular. So, you know, if you was ugly, I wasn't really talking to you. So it was either basketball, and I literally just worked on my game. And I had a really, really good, solid first year in junior college. But I knew I needed to work on my jumper because I was still only 6'6", 6'7". You know, you gonna play major D1 basketball or you want to go pro at 6'6", you can't be no center. There ain't too many Charles Barkley's walking around. So I literally every morning I would get up and I go work out. I just shoot jumpers, and none of them ever went in. I shot them in pickup, outside of 15 feet. They just never went in. Then one day out the blue, no exaggeration, I still remember to this day. I can tell you exactly what I had on when I was in. I had on some polka dot. Back then, you used to wear boxer shorts, drawers as shorts to hooping. And
What JUCO was you at?
I was at Coffeyville in Kansas.
Okay, cool.
No, Jayhawk Conference was the top. You know, was the top JUCO. You know, Kansas and Texas. So Larry Johnson was number one player in the country. I was like 28, 12, and 12, and 9 blocks a game. So I get down there. You know, I'm doing my thing. So one day I'm playing pickup after working for months and months, and I couldn't miss. I don't care how I could do it with my eyes closed, and I couldn't miss. So eventually my name started getting out, and I'm starting getting recruited, you know, by all, you know, Oklahomas, and, you know, because I'm in that area, Kansas, I'm in that area, people are looking. And all I knew was Big East. You know, all I knew is Seton Hall, St. John's, you know, Providence, you know, everything back on my side of town.
Right.
And at this point, Malik committed to St. John's. He was already at St. John's. Gordon Winchester was also a Prop 48, but he went and sat out at Seton Hall the year they won the national championship. So, you know, I don't know where I'm going to go. You know, I'm still trying to figure out. Coming out, I didn't really have a lot of offers because I wasn't qualified. But Seton Hall wanted me. My best friend was there, Gordy. But Carlissimo kept coming. Come to my games. And then Maryland came. And to be honest, I didn't even heard of Maryland. I mean, I know about Len Bias because he had passed, but I didn't know about the ACC. I remember Duke because Duke played Louisville in the national championship a couple years before with Purvis Ellison. But I was like, you know what? You get 5 visits. I'm out to take the visit. So I get on the plane. I go to Maryland, and I go to the hotel. They got me at the Marriott. I'm eating shrimp cocktails. Never had a shrimp cocktail in my life. I mean, they were like really, really doing it up. I had about 4 of them, 4 shrimp cocktail platters. I mean, I'm getting mercury poison. So they give me Walt Williams. Walt Williams is my recruit guy. So Walt comes in, they're like, yo, we're going to go hang out. We're going to the east side. I'm like, man, I'm sick. Like, I ate too much shrimp. I couldn't hang out because I ate too much shrimp. I had, I guess, too much mercury. So anyway, next day they're playing Virginia at home. And it's Walt Williams, Gerard Mustaf played with the Knicks. Played Phoenix Suns. Tony Massenberg played 15 years in the NBA. Yeah. Who else? Gary Williams is the head coach, and this is his first year at Maryland. And he's like, he's recruiting me. So anyway, I get there, and place is packed. 15,500, smack heavy. They're coming out for warming up, just way before the game started, probably about 2 hours before the game started. I'm out there, and the crowd is screaming, Garfield. I mean, just screaming my name, Garfield. Now, there's a kid on the team named Tion McCoy, but his nickname was Garfield.
Right.
And it was, so I thought they were calling him, because I'm like, don't nobody know me. I'm, whatever. So anyway, I get there, and the coach is like, hey, you're not going to acknowledge the crowd? I go, for what? They're screaming your name. I go, they're talking about Tion. Like, nah, they're talking about you. I was like, what? So I kind of raised my hand just a little bit, and they got a little louder. I raised my hand higher. They got louder. I raised my hand all the way up and started waving. They just went banana. Like, I had goosebumps. I was just sweating. I committed on the spot.
So that was it for you. That was it.
So after the game's over, coach was like, what do you think? I said, I'm here. where's the letter? Let me sign. He's like,
Wow.
wait, go home, think about it. Well, I'll call you Tuesday. I like, no, listen, I'm in. I'm all in. So he calls me the Tuesday. I tell my man, I get the letter of intent, I sign. I get there that summer, and I'm just working out. And by now, I gained a lot of confidence. I'm to the point now where I'm cocky. I'm from New York, but ain't nobody here. I'm gonna bust everybody's ass. And in the summer, I'm busting everybody's ass. I'm in Herbal Coalition, and I'm playing in what's it, Agassi, the tennis player Agassi. I'm playing I'm playing in his cross-trained sneakers and pro-am leagues because I'm just
wow.
And just I think I'm the shit.
Right.
I take those off. I throw on some Air Force Ones, and I got flavor. I'm from New York. Everybody else is country. I don't even stunt y'all. So anyway, I mean, I had a great summer that summer, and into Maryland. Now I'm practicing, and I'm trying to bust everybody's ass. I'm not taking any prisoners. Walt Williams, I'm trying to check him. He's killing. And nothing you could do with him. But everybody else, I'm taking you. You ain't getting me. And it was great. I loved it. I love my experience in Maryland. But from where I started to where I ended up,
that's what I want to talk about, because you didn't take the normal process of staying at a high school, getting some notoriety at the high school, then playing AAU. You kind of started in the AAU system, kind of developed from the AAU system, got your name and notoriety from the AAU system, and then got recruited out of the AAU system or got help, right? So you could get, there you go, put in a better situation, and it worked out for you.
And then, you know what? I had guys that we were all same mindset. We all wanted to play ball. That's all we wanted to do. We didn't want to fight. We didn't want to have no problem. We didn't want to hang out in the streets. We just wanted to play ball. And, from that, the fruits of our labor gave to us. But our objective at that point wasn't, we wanted to be great and be big-time basketball players. We were like, we just want to play ball. We ended up getting better. And we did everything together. We played ball together. We hung out together. We went to clubs together. We drank together. That's all we did. There was nothing else to it. And if you didn't play ball, if you didn't play ball, you wasn't outside.
Okay, right. Golf. Who that? A Rich One said, didn't forget how y'all nearly lost to us in high school. Y'all got us at the buzzer up at Glen Falls. Listen, who's that?
That's Alvin Rich. Y'all get him on.
Okay, what up, Al Rich? That's Al right. Rich, what up, man?
Springfield. He played at Springfield High School. I mean,
That's right.
August Martin. What is it? Springfield? No, Springfield.
Springfield. Right.
Alvin is right. Yeah, he was. But guess what? Listen, whether you win by 1 or you win by 50, a win's a win. That's all I can say. But how about this? How about we went from that to playing each other in college?
Really?
Yeah, he was at Rutgers. He played at Rutgers.
Right. That's right.
We played Rutgers twice. We played Rutgers in the ECAC tournament, smacked them.
So you got them twice.
Yeah, got all tournament. Got a couple prizes, and then we played them in University of Arizona. Had forgot what they called the Fiesta something tournament that Lute Olson had every year. And it was Arizona. Right. It had Damon Stoudemire and those guys. Alvin Rich was at Rutgers with Daniel Lumpkin. Who else was in that tournament? But I think they got us in Arizona. No. We beat them again in Arizona because we ended up playing University of Arizona championship and they cheated us. So
okay.
So that's 0-3 for Alvin.
Yo, Al, man, come on, man. All right. So you're at Maryland now, right? And you making your place.
Yeah, I'm at Maryland. I'm doing well in practice. I'm playing. Really
How did
well.
you fare out your freshman or your sophomore year? Because you didn't play your freshman year, right?
Yeah, I was a junior when I got to Maryland because I did 2 years of JUCO.
That's right. You did the junior college. Yeah, that's
Right.
right. That's right. That's right.
So I'm at Maryland, and now I'm automatic. I'm a starter.
Oh, so you're a lot more mature now. You're a lot more mature now, and a lot more confident. Yeah.
My confidence level is to the roof. I'm a little bit more calm. My aggression is more tame to the game and not taking things more seriously. I'm playing. My first 4 or 5 games, I'm dropping 17, 18. My 4th game of the year, I want to say 4th or 5th game, we played USC or Howell Minor. I'm killing. I'm 8 for 8,
Right.
9 for 9, 10 for 10. It should still be the record in Maryland. With most field goal attempts without a miss. I'm really, really playing well. Probably the first 7 or 8 game. I'm averaging about 8, 17 a game. I had a great junior year. I played really, really well. Newcomer of the year. We were a good unit. We were predicted to come in bottom of the conference. We ended up finishing about middle. We're talking about Corciani, Rodney Monroe at NC State, 3 amigos, Kenny.
Right. Right. That's right. NC State. That Rodney Monroe. That's right. That's right.
Rodney Monroe, Tom Gugliotta, Chris Corciani. Clemson had Bud. Bud marrying Cash out of the Bronx.
Right.
The Dale brothers who play in the NBA. Georgia Tech had Kenny, the shooter. They had the 3 amigos. I mean, everybody was stacked. Duke had Bobby Hurley, Christian Leitner, all those guys. So we were doing our thing. I've won a couple games at the buzzer, beat NC State. I hit the last 12 free throws of the game to win the game by like 4 or 5. So, I had a really, really good, solid junior year. And, my name is buzzed. And, coach loved me. And, I was very confident. I was very cocky, very confident. And, I had a great year going to my senior year. Things were looking good. I was on the list for Bob Givens for guys to get drafted, coming out the senior year. Back then, Bob Givens was the guru of talent evaluation.
Yes.
Going to my senior year, obviously Walt Williams at this point was, a Naismith candidate. My teammate, 6'9", point guard, shoot the threes. My junior year, he dropped 30 points or more, 7 straight games in the ACC. Wore high socks. Yes, we were killing. He was the top dog. He was the dog. We fed off of him. But he was a great teammate. He made sure we all kind of, were incorporated. So couldn't
hold on, we're gonna come back because we're about to end this session right now. We're gonna come back with one more session. Okay. But Al Rick said y'all lost to them in Arizona.